All right, we are going to kick off. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our VetNet webinar today. Before we kind of overview our time together and go through kind of high level what we'll be talking about today, I did want to pass the microphone over to our Chief Operating Officer at the Syracuse University's Institute for Veterans and Military Family, Maureen Casey. So Maureen, take it away.
Thanks so much, Ashley, and thanks to everyone for joining us today. Greetings to you from beautiful Syracuse, New York, campus of Syracuse University. I hope this finds that you and yours have survived the last year and a half without too much issue. I know we here at Syracuse University and at the IVMF are very grateful for all of the support we have received in navigating through the pandemic and being able to continue to serve all of you, notwithstanding the challenging conditions. Today, we're really excited to share with you what's ahead for us. I think like everyone, we here at the IVMF are very excited about the return to normal. And I say normal with an asterisk, meaning we will be paying particular attention to the health and safety guidance that we receive from our healthcare professionals around delivering in-person programming to all of you as we move forward through the summer and into the fall. The fact that we are returning to normal and returning to in-person programming does not mean that our virtual programs will go away. One of the things that I think we learned during this time is that we can reach so many more of you by delivering some of our programs and services online. So that will continue as well. What can you expect from us? You can expect, I guess what I would say is what you have always been able to expect from us. And I hope you will find, if you haven't already, that that's what you will get from us, which is the fact that with regard to our mission, we are singularly focused on all of you and your families, meaning that our goal is to position you and your families to thrive post-service as best we know how. If you don't know about the IVMF, what is unique about us is that not only do we do direct program service delivery, but we also have a very extensive bench of researchers, analysts, folks who perform analytics and evaluations of not only our programs, but the programs of others. And all of that means is that we are very well informed about what you need, what leading practices are, and we're also able, as a result, to be very flexible and adapt our programs and services to meet those needs. I think we demonstrated that throughout COVID by modifying some of our programs and services to address some of those changing needs, for example, in the area of entrepreneurship and working with small business owners to help navigate through the crisis, accessing the federal dollars that were available, figuring out how to be sustainable, how to pivot their businesses. So I think we are focused on continuing to do just that, which is stay on top of the evolving needs, address and modify our programs to address those needs, and ensure that you and your families are positioned to thrive post-service. I have to say I am really proud to be a part of a team, many of whom you will hear from today, who are singularly focused on your success. I have the privilege of serving as Chief Operating Officer, and it is my privilege because of how good all of them are. So I'm excited that you will hear from so many of them directly today. The other thing I will say to all of you is that what I say to my team, which is we can't fix what we don't know. We believe that we are well informed in terms of what we do and how we do it, but that doesn't mean that we know it all. And so we always appreciate hearing from you if there are things that you need, that you don't see that are part of our services or our programs or our research. And while we can't be all things to all people, we believe very strongly in building relationships and making partners, establishing partnerships. So if we don't have the answers or the services to address your needs, chances are we have a network of partners that we can refer you to help in that regard. Also, as our boss often says, once you are a program participant of the IVMF, you become part of the IVMF family and the Orange family forever. So we pride ourselves on establishing relationships with our program participants and being a resource to you long after you complete our programs or participate in any of our services. So thank you again for joining us today. Really excited to share with you what's ahead. And now I'm going to turn it back over to the people that really make it all happen. So Ashley, back to you.
Thank you, Maureen. And again, just like Maureen said, thank you all for joining us. We're really looking forward to today to just briefly informing you on kind of where we are going with these next 6 months, knowing that a lot has changed as we start to navigate out from COVID, as well as make sure that you all understand, again, just as Maureen said, that we are a continued resource here for you all. And we want to hear from you to make sure that we are providing the best resources that meet your needs and that help you grow and thrive. So just to rewind a bit, my name is Ashley Cavender, and I serve as the manager for Alumni Services here at the IVMF. So all of the forever being a part of the IVMF and the Orange family, we're here to build those relationships with you guys and continue to provide services and resources that meet your needs. So on to today and what we're going to discuss. We'll hear from the different areas, as Maureen mentioned, our different pillars, as we like to call them. And then once we're done with that, we're going to open up some breakout rooms. And these breakout rooms will have those that you hear from today. And they will give you the opportunity to ask more in-depth questions if you have something that is, particular to your situation, you have more questions, or you just want to dive a little bit deeper about, something that one of our speakers said. So that just gives you an overall framework of what you're going to hear today. But first, we're just going to do a quick, 2-minute overview of kind of the IVMF for those that are new joining us today. So Elvis, if you could go to the next slide. So first, we just wanted to always start with our vision and mission. I think Maureen hit the nail on the head with saying that we are here for you. We really want to see you, your families, the entire military community grow and thrive, and whatever you choose to do with your post-military lives. And our mission is to really empower you to take those actions and provide the resources, services, and support that you need to get there. Next slide. A quick snapshot of our impact. We have served over 150,000 service members and their families. We are, a little bit over 100 professional staff supported by students as well. We're headquartered in Syracuse, New York, as you heard, but we really operate all over the country, have teammates all over the country in different areas there to support you. And here's just a quick visual. So we'll hear from the different areas today, but this is just what we like to call, our journey map, potential journeys you can take with the IVMF, whether that's more career preparation, navigating services in your local community, or the whole portfolio of entrepreneurship programs that we have, really depending on what stage of the entrepreneurship life cycle that you're currently in. And then knowing that we're headquartered at Syracuse University, you are a part of that Orange family. So even if a traditional higher education path is in your future too, we have connections there as well, and would be happy to guide you in whatever path makes sense for your journey. And this, we just wanted to make sure everyone saw. We moved into the National Veterans Resource Center during the height of COVID. So we're looking forward to welcoming you all to our building. It is located in upstate New York at Syracuse, New York. And this is just one quick image of the many images that you'll see over the next coming months as we look to, celebrate and really welcome people back to not only in-person programming, but in-person meetings. And we hope that you'll be able to visit us at our new building soon. And then finally, before I pass it over to the rest of my teammates here, I just wanted to do a quick refresher of Alumni Services. So those that have completed some of the programs that we're going to talk about here today, just a reminder to stay connected. This network is here to support you, as we'll say over and over again today on this webinar. But really, no matter whether you're going into more of a traditional career path or you open your own small business, we're here to give you the resources to help you grow and scale your career or your small business. Provide that network, go to your local communities. We're hoping to get back to in-person events, as you'll hear about coming up, but hopefully that comes along with those networking events in your local community to build that network. Keeping you informed through monthly newsletters, and really we're looking to provide you all with opportunities to volunteer and to expand your network. So those that come after you, that take your programs, you can be involved and really share your story on how some of these programs may have impacted you and how that led you to the next step in your life. So you'll see our email address there, but we'll make sure for all the registrants to pass along this information after this webinar as well. So with that, I am going to pass it over to Mike Shenik, our National Program Director for the Onward to Opportunity program, to talk about that pillar. Mike, over to you.
Thanks so much, and good afternoon, everyone. Elvis, if we could go to the next slide, please. So, we in the Onward to Opportunity program, back when COVID came about, had the luxury of being able to really switch our installation-based learning over to virtual learning. And we really didn't miss a step throughout the last 14 to 15 months, delivering almost 165 cohorts that would have been canceled if we weren't able to leverage technology. So as I'm going through kind of a brief overview, I'll also hit some initiatives coming up. So we will continue to serve transitioning service members, members of the National Guard and Reserve, veterans with an honorable discharge, and spouses of all the above. We will continue to offer access through industry-validated training and certifications aligned to the in-demand career tracks, of business management and information technology, as well as a connection to employment services. This will be done at no cost to the individuals. Next slide, please. So as mentioned, we did have to switch to a virtual delivery model during COVID. However, we are now working with our installation teams, 19 across the country, to take a look at what a return to in-person instruction will look like. So we have started to develop out a schedule. We have some signaling to us that it may occur in the next couple months, some stating in the fall and some stating in Q1 of calendar year 22, where we will look to resume in-person cohorts of up to the 75 participants at each location. This will also be done in conjunction with taking a look at where our participants are at and really exploring a hybrid model to make sure that if individuals are uncomfortable or an operating environment may be restrictive, to really kind of take a look at what the best delivery model will look like. We will continue to offer our virtual cohort offerings each month, and a schedule of those are on our website. Next slide, please, Elvis. This is just a snapshot of our participant experience. As we take a look at the next 6 months, really are looking to augment this through a number of different initiatives, which I'll make mention of in a second here. But this has really been our differentiator. The assessment, the Onward to Your Career curriculum, access asynchronously to our Skillsoft and or other learning management systems, access to employment services. And as Ashley mentioned, just because you wrap up with our program doesn't mean you're gone. You are part of the IVMF family. Next slide, please, Elvis. This is something that we're very excited about. So through some support from one of our funders, we have been able to enter into a project where we will be refreshing our Onward to Your Career curriculum, which every participant has access to. Currently, we offer personal branding, thriving versus surviving, discover and corporate culture, and the others listed there. As we move forward to the new curriculum, which we're looking to launch in the fall of this year, we will be adding in a couple different new modules to the mix. One of them being operating in a digital workplace. We know that the last really 15 months have moved up that conversation of remote work and ensuring that transitioning service members and the audiences we serve really understand what working in a remote setting looks like is important, as well as working through career continuity planning and resiliency. We know the individuals and the spouses that serve within the military already really know what being resilient means. What we're looking to do is make sure that individuals really understand what resiliency is in the workplace and setting themselves up for long-term success. Next slide, please. As we move into this next 6 months as well, we will be looking at adding additional certification and training tracks. Just this last month in May, we added 5 new learning pathways. We added some Python curriculum as well as some Linux essentials with NDG Linux 1 and NDG Linux 2, and we'll continue to look to diversify what we're offering. This is, nested within conversations of many different industries, employers, et cetera. And we're happy to report, as of now, we've eclipsed 50 learning pathways, and we'll continue to take a look at what additional ones can look like. Now, to really hit just a list of our upcoming initiatives, we've talked about the return to in-person. If you are interested in the program, connect with the local installations if you're surrounded around one of our 19 locations, and they'll be best positioned to talk you through what that return will look like. But you can also reach out to our enrollment services team. We have partnered with Accenture to develop out a tool called our AID Extended Reality and Virtual Reality tool. This is such a unique opportunity for individuals to take a look at what it means to interview in the civilian sector, utilizing virtual reality and technology and analytics to really take a look at where you're at. We will be piloting the virtual reality in conjunction with the return to installations, and the extended reality is currently being offered and will be fully offered at all of our installations starting in July. We will be launching a Boeing Aerospace and Defense Foundations course. Very excited about providing additional information and exposure into this industry, and that will occur in the fall of this year. We've talked about our Onward to Your Career curriculum, and really beyond that, we're looking to continue to augment the learner's experience through national, regional, and local partnerships, getting our networking, our resume workshops, and all of our support events back in person or continuing virtually as needed. And really just excited to continue to serve you all in a manner that we've been able to in the last year virtually, just hopefully getting back into person. So thanks, Ashley and Elvis, and I'll turn it over to my colleagues on the America Serves team.
Thanks so much, Mike. Really appreciate the update. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anthony Cosby, and I'm coming to you from sunny San Antonio, Texas, as well as my colleague, Mr. Vincent Del Signore, who's coming to you all from Rhode Island. Next slide, please. So America Serves, as you guys know, that one of our pillars is community service. And we truly take great pride in community service because it gives us that unique opportunity to work alongside our other programs. But in this situation, it gives us the opportunity to understand the coordinated care that a lot of our veterans and military families need all across the country. As you can see from this slide in the orange, go orange, we're from East Coast, West Coast, down in my state of Texas, and we're just continuing to grow as we grow out our America Serves portfolio. But we've truly been able to impact so many communities and so many lives. Over 99,000 folks that have submitted service requests and impacting over 40,000 individuals. In a lot of cases, actually changing their lives for the better. As you all know, during the COVID-19 pandemic, food insecurity was one of those major ones that was going rampant around the country, especially in San Antonio, Texas, where I live. I can recall folks waiting up to 11 hours to get food. For us to be able to be a part of that help in helping those veterans and military families with whatever need it might be, whether it's food insecurities, whether it might be rent assistance, whether it might be social services, or whether it might be, I just want to see a Spurs game when they come back and start playing. Of course, we didn't make the playoffs this time, but it's been truly amazing to see how we've been able to impact lives all over the country. And really, we can't do this without that 1K number that you see there, which is our amazing service providers that have been able to take down those silos all across the country and being able to work independently and work together with each other as we're helping veterans and military families get attracted to needs that they might have. And we're going to go to the next slide, and Vincent is going to break this down a little bit for you guys and show how we really work in addressing those needs. Vincent, over to you.
Thanks so much, Anthony. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So as Anthony mentioned, and as you saw on the previous slide, we're active in 18 communities, and our role, we work alongside each of those communities and the service providers that are in them to coordinate and collaborate together to better serve you all, right? And what we try to do here is run the gamut of different service agencies and providers that exist in those given communities, from New York City down to San Antonio, be that employment, benefits assistance, money management, all the way up through spiritual enrichment. We work with churches, we work with social service agencies, both in the nonprofit and the governmental space, to try to ensure that we create a single point of entry for folks. Because oftentimes we see individuals have more than one need, and we want to make essentially a one-stop shop in the communities where we are active for folks to be able to access the whole range of care that they are entitled to and to whatever they need. So next slide, Elvis, please. And so how this works in the no wrong door approach that we were talking about here, we pulled together all of those service providers in those different categories that you had seen from the previous slide, and we pull them together through technology. And at the center of that, we work with different agencies, in some cases, be them government veteran service agencies or nonprofits, where it is their sole purpose in life to understand what exists in the community and to connect veterans and their family members to care. And there are multiple ways to get access to our networks to ensure that there's really no wrong way to get in and plugged into the various offerings that any given community can provide. So next slide. And we work alongside those coordination centers and the leaders within those communities to ensure that they are sharing best practices to try to elevate collectively how we're operating. So if something's going well here in Rhode Island and we want to share it with San Antonio, we have an opportunity to do that. We do professional training every month and do convenings, typically annually, with our community coordination centers to ensure that they are best situated to meet the needs of the individuals that we're serving. So that's it for me. I'm going to hand it over to Misty now. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Elvis, you can go to the next slide. As always, with the entrepreneurship portfolio, we have been meeting folks where they're at on their journey. And COVID, that looked a little different for us, as we're very typically high touch in-person training. But we knew that entrepreneurs were facing a lot of challenges during the COVID-19 pandemic. So we got as entrepreneurial as we expect of our graduates and those that we work with. And during that time, we introduced 2 new programs to include our EBV Spark, which has just graduated our 5th cohort last night. And that's really for folks that are thinking about starting their entrepreneurial endeavors. The great news is that program will continue online throughout the fall and throughout the year, and as long as it needs to, because we know that it's really resonating with folks across the nation. We also launched our RISE program with our partners at Florida State University to help establish businesses, make sure that they could pivot and get what they needed to really understand and respond to the new landscape that their businesses are facing. And we've seen a lot of success with that as well. Elvis, if you'll go to the next slide. I think another thing that I'm just extremely proud of is all the partnerships that have really stepped up during the last year. I know that we've hosted several webinars, including many with the SBA. We reached 11,000 veteran entrepreneurs during those webinars to make sure that they're getting the timely resources that they need, much like the America Serves model. And I know that our partners at Strive, of which I see one with us here today, and we appreciate you joining us, had also switched their programs online to make sure that they were serving the communities of which they live and making sure that those veteran-owned businesses were just as connected, even though we were all staying a good, healthy 6 feet apart. So with all of that to say, the portfolio is set up much the same way that you've always seen from us. It is a journey, and we know that entrepreneurship is a journey. So we have created programs that meet you where you're at. And while that has been the living room for the past year, we're very excited to announce that we will now be back to meeting in person and hosting what we like to refer to as not only training programs, but family reunions across the nation. So we will be starting with our EBV program right here at SU in the National Veteran Resource Center this July. We have 22 veterans from across the country joining us here. And then from there, we'll be going into our Veteran Women Igniting the Spirit of Entrepreneurship in Nashville. It is sold out, which is exciting. We're looking at most likely our largest conference to date, but never fear, look soon for an announcement in Q1 for our next VYs that we will be hosting. And then of course, we'll all be heading to Dallas for the Veteran Edge Conference. Again, this program is also teetering on sell out, but we are accepting applications through the end of this month or through the end of July, I should say. And we're very excited to see all of you there as well and celebrate our Vet 100, but also celebrate the tenacity and perseverance of our growing veteran-owned businesses. Another thing that you can expect to see from us again is returning to DC with our Ignite program. So for those of you who are thinking of starting a business and you're in the DC area, again, look for an announcement. We'll be there in October. Elvis, if you'll go to the next slide, I'll actually walk through the portfolio. Our Boots to Business team has been extremely agile, one of the first to flip right into online programming and over delivering on their promise for workshops. They will continue to do so. We work on bases OCONUS. And so as restrictions lift, we'll be in person, but we will continue to deliver remotely as needed. Strive, the biggest announcement that I'm excited to say is this is a program that we have partnered with rural universities and community colleges, and we have now entered into a partnership with NACCE, and with the help of our friends at HCC, we are expanding the Strive Consortium. So you will start to see the Strive program, a 6-week program being offered coast to coast so that folks can be connected not only to their communities, but other entrepreneurs and resources that are right there in their backyard. And as I mentioned, Ignite's a wonderful one-day program, and we'll be returning to in-person in DC. We covered VYs, EBV. I should mention that we do have 2 online cohorts this year, but importantly, we will be back in person. So our programs at Texas A&M University, our EBVF program at Florida State, our EBV program here at SU will all be in person, including our program at Mizzou. So if you're looking at starting up and would like a residential program, that's 3 phases, and you can travel to one of those towns across the nation covered by the IVMF in those schools, then this is a great program to get reconnected again to like-minded veteranpreneurs who are working on starting their businesses or expanding their startups. And we're very excited to see that coming back in person. Elvis, next slide. I also know that, as many of you know, we've been hosting entrepreneurship programs since 2007. Our programming actually predates the Institute. And one thing that we have done is, as our programs have grown up and our entrepreneurs have grown up, so have our programs. Rise is something that we launched during the pandemic to help entrepreneurs pivot their existing businesses to meet the ever-changing landscape that we are experiencing. We still realize that that landscape is still changing very rapidly for most. So this program is another one that will continue online. And we think it's a great way that folks can kind of get plugged in and take that critical look at their company to say, how can I shore up my foundation to make sure that for years to come or any other unexpected events to come, my business is ready to continue to do business. EBV Accelerate will be returning as well. And we're excited to launch those applications so that folks can join those schools. That is a boot camp style program, very similar to EBV, but for those businesses who are established and have 5 or more employees. And as I mentioned, Veteran Edge will be in Dallas. We are very excited about the crew that is coming to join us thus far. We are accepting applications on a rolling basis at this point. Being able to celebrate the Vet 100 who experienced huge milestones during a very challenging year is something that we're excited to see, and as well to get our grads back together to, again, celebrate them, but also really get that customized agenda in their hands so that they can continue to grow their businesses and make the connection to the resources and partners that they need. I was on a webinar last night with some of our grads, and some of just the amazing deals and contracts and connections and lifelong partnerships have been life-changing. So we're extremely excited to go back to Dallas again for our 4th year of the Veteran Edge Conference. And as always, the CVOB and the COE stand as resource aggregators and information providers, not only to our Fortune 500 companies that continually create more opportunities for procurement-ready entrepreneurs, but also to make sure that the ecosystem is connected to the most recent data and the most recent understanding of what the challenges and barriers that are facing our entrepreneurs. We are currently in the process of accepting our Kauffman National Survey of Military Affiliated Entrepreneurs. We love to hear about, again, to what Maureen said, we can't fix what we don't know. We want to hear about your successes. We want to hear about your barriers. We want to hear about your challenges. And more importantly, we want to get them on a loudspeaker so that the community as a whole understands what we can be doing better to serve you and your needs. If you know someone who's thinking about starting a business or growing a business, or even if they're deciding if entrepreneurship's right for them, I would encourage you very much to get in touch with our enrollment services team to make sure that you can get into the right program for you. And as Ashley mentioned at the very top of this, it's much more than just a 1 week or a 2-day or 4-day program. It is a continuum, and we have an amazing alumni services team that will continue to serve you after graduation. Elvis next. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Ashley.
Thanks, Misty. All right, and so this is just for you all to view quickly. We'll send it out again, but it's just a message to stay connected. We've been reiterating that time and time again during the last 30 minutes. We have our social media channels there, as well as just letting you all know that, you know, whether you are a current student or a graduate of one of our programs, you have options to keep us informed. Share a testimonial if you've had a positive experience, if you've had successes in your business, you know, because of the resources and the programming that you've received with the IVMF, as well as there'll be opportunities for you to volunteer and to, you know, speak to those that come after you and take our programs as well. And with that, if you want to go to the next slide, Elvis. So what we're going to do now, we have 30 minutes. You do not need to feel the need to stay for the next 30 minutes. I'm just going to explain a few minutes of what we're going to do, and then we'll break out. But really what we're going to do is open breakout rooms as you see on this screen here. The individuals that you heard from and some of their teammates will be in these breakout rooms to answer questions, like I mentioned earlier, on if you have questions about programmings, if you're in programs and you want to learn about other ones or other services, you know, they'll be here to answer your questions for as long as you need, or until 2 o'clock, whichever comes first. So with that, we'll open them up. You guys will have the opportunities to switch between rooms as you would like. And then once you get your questions answered, feel free to sign off. We will be sending out a copy of this recording to all of those who registered. So you'll have the information with links, with contact information at your disposal after this session as well. So Elvis, if you want to open the breakout rooms, we thank you all for joining us today, but feel free